I love the fact that more and more people are getting out there and training with an actual fighting load, whether they do this for self-defense or because they want to be the best that they can be at their jobs. A lot of the no-nonsense lessons we've learned from equipment over the last 20 years in warfighting need to be stressed more. I get it, I was young once too, I could see what the cool guys were doing, I wanted exactly what they had, but when you begin to carry these items as part of your job, that learning curve gets so much more severe. You quickly get rid of all the fluff, and you trim items down based on your needs. Let's go over 5 critical things about your fighting kit that you need to put into consideration. Number 1, don't blindly follow Instagram pictures. As I said in the intro, I get it. There's some cool guys to look up to. And I know it appeals to a lot of young guys. But when you start to select your gear based on what you saw X, Y, and Z do, you start to move into this weird territory where it's almost like playing dress up. What you need to consider is that different units have different SOPs. On top of their different standard operating procedures, each unit might have a different mission. Each individual is different. Body dimensions are going to dictate where you're going to put certain items. If you can't effectively reach a magazine that's on the opposite end of your body quickly and efficiently, then it doesn't really make that much sense to be there. You'd want to move it to an area that you can access quicker. On top of that, some things only look cool in pictures. It's a totally different game when you have to carry it around 12 hours out of the day for 5 days straight, or 7, or 30. Newer doesn't equal better. Some companies create a problem and then sell the fix and call it innovation. Some equipment has been based on scenarios that just aren't realistic. I mean, who can blame them though? That is the goal of marketing, isn't it? There are some individuals and manufacturers that will just chase trends and try and sell you a bill of goods. When someone is telling you that this particular item is solving a problem, ask yourself, was it even a problem for you in the first place? Gear eventually breaks after heavy use. If you're out in the sun under UV light, or you're crawling through things and there's abrasion wear, even having the salt from your sweat dry repeatedly and rub against the fibers of nylon on your equipment is going to slowly degrade its integrity over time. It's all abusive. Elastic closures wear out and plastic buckles break. I'm thankful I've never broken a plastic buckle, but I know plenty of people that have, and I've definitely worn out elastic components of my equipment. Old school style metal snaps also wear out due to use. Using your equipment hard over the long term is incredibly destructive to it. If you're an end user out there pushing your equipment to its absolute limit, especially after gear companies seem to have moved to 500 denier cordura instead of 1000 denier, you need to learn how to get good at patching your gear and making quick repairs on the go. Above all, if you're really using your equipment, don't fall in love with your nylon. Crawl through enough concrete, you're going to wear a hole in something. Now, just because you go out there and you do the job like a beast doesn't mean you have to smell like one either, but you do have to know how to clean your equipment properly. A vinegar wash and air drying it in the shade is going to do wonders for it. Not only is it a good practice for you to not stink for your teammates, but human smells do give away a lot of information. But even though you don't want to stink, you also don't want to smell like a walking Tide Pod. Under IR light, you don't want to look like a walking neon sign either. So if you are using some kind of detergent, make sure that it's free of dyes, perfumes, or lightening agents, anything like that. I really would go with the vinegar wash though, and drying it in the shade. And the final point about equipment, listen to people who have experiences wearing equipment under real world, long-term use and abuse. You can only get so much information if you wear it one day out of the weekend. Guys have been putting this stuff on and off for the last 20 years and have watched the gear evolve. There's always a lesson to be learned. You want to pay attention to what the brands that have lasted for a long time are doing, because they're doing something right. If you take a look at the Ukrainian-Russian conflict, there's a lot of surprising, cheaper alternatives as well. Equipment is set up differently for every individual. The important thing to keep in mind is this. Don't make it a fashion show. Don't go out there wearing this equipment trying to look cool, because when you do it right, you look cool by default. Keep in mind your mission, keep in mind your own capabilities, and keep in mind why you have this equipment in the first place. Tailor it to what you actually need, to what you actually do, and then you'll have the most efficient setup. I hope this helps you set up your equipment in a way that makes sense for you and that you find that you become more efficient in doing your job. So until the next time, be good, stay safe, and have a good one.